Hello programmers, in this video I will share with you 5 Python beginner projects with complete explanation. So let's start with a video. So let's make our first Python file in a folder and start with our tutorial. So the first thing we are going to make is area and circumference calculator of a circle. This code will take input as radius of user and then calculate the area and circumference of the circle and give it to the user as output. Let's see how we will do it. First, we will make a variable that will take the input, that is radius. We will use the int function to make sure that the value entered is a number. We will write enter the radius of the circle. Okay. Now we will use the formulas of calculating area and circumference that were taught in our school, right? So we will write here area and equal to pi into r, that is 3.14. The value of pi we will assume here. You can also enter 3.141. Okay, now r into r or r square also you can write like this. Now we will calculate the circumference of the circle. So we will write just CIR for now, and then we will write 2 into pi into r. That is our general formula of circumference of circle. Actually we should write here radius as our variable is radius here. Okay, now as we have got our values, we will print it. So we will write in some fashionable way the area of the circle is something and then the circumference of the circle is something. Okay, now let's run our code. We will write Python and a file name to run it. Okay, now the radius of circle, let it be 3. Okay, and as area is 28.26 and circumference is 18.84. But where are the units? Let's enter units, square centimeter and of course centimeter. Now let's run our code again. Now let it be 6 radius and then we have got our values with our units. So we have completed our first project. Now we will move on to our second project, and this project is going to be very simple. In this project we will determine whether the number entered by our user is even or odd. A new term will be introduced in this, that is modulus. So first we will take our input and enter a number, of course, and then we will check if the remainder given when divided by 2 is 0 or not. For that we will of course use the if function, and then we will check if it is 0, the remainder is 0, then print the number is even. If it is not, then print the number is odd. I hope you understand it, because even numbers are always divisible by 2. So let's run our code and check whether it is correct or not. Of course it's correct. Then too, let's check. Yes, it is obviously correct. Let's check it with an odd number, 23. Okay, so it is right. Now let's move on to our third project. In our third project, we are going to print the multiplication table that we used to write in our notebooks. And this thing can Python do very fast than us, of course, and for any number. So first we will take the user's input of which number he wants to print the whole multiplication table of. So of course it is an integer, the value that will be entered by the user, so we will use the int function. And in this project we will also use a loop known as while loop. So let's see how it works. Also make a variable count that will be 1 in the starting. So now you have to listen carefully. What am I doing here is checking whether count is small or equal to 10. And while it is small and equal to 10, I will print the following thing, that is num, and then multiplication sign, that is cross, and then count I will print, and then I will print equal to sign, and then I will print the multiplication of num and count. Don't worry, I will explain the code now. To check whether our code is completed, I will also print done. Now I will run the code and show you that we will get an infinite printing. I will show you how. I will enter 5 and then run. You can see we are getting infinite prints. So what the issue is here, that we have not done count plus is equal to 1. Now first see the output and then listen to the explanation. Okay, as you can see we have got a full multiplication table. Okay, now let's see how this code is working out there. The code of while loop is divided into 3 parts. The first part is the while word that you can see, which is just a word. The next thing after it is the condition when the block of code, which is a third part, will run. Okay, so the first part was a while, the second part is the condition, and the third part is the code that will run when the condition will be true. Okay, now let's understand what is a condition here. So the condition is that the count is small or equal to 10. As count is initially small than 10, the block of code will run. The print statement prints the number entered by user, the count variable, and then the multiplication of num and count. Let's assume that the num is 5 and the count is 1, that is 1 only, and then you can assume that it will be printed as 5 into 1 is equal to 5 into 1, that is 5. After this line is printed, a count variable will be increased by 1, so it will become 2, and then 2 is smaller than 10, so it will run the code again. I mean it will run the while loop again. So our print statement will be somewhat like this. 5 into 2 is equal to 5 into 2, that is 10. So now after this code, our count variable will become 3, and this code will keep on running like this till our count variable becomes 10. Then our final line will be 5 into 10 is equal to 50, and then we will get a print done, and then our code will be finished. I hope you understood this. Now let's move on to our fourth project. So in our fourth project we are going to make a star pattern, and in this project you will come to know about for loop. I will explain you how a for loop works. So let's start with our project. We will start by making a variable called star and then ask for the user's input of how many lines of stars he wants to print. That is how much big he wants a triangle to be. And then we will run the for loop in range till n. Now let's see what it is. A for loop is used to iterate over a given sequence. The range function is used to create number sequences in Python. It takes 2 parameters, but if we give 1 parameter, it starts from 0 and stops before the specified number. Okay, it stops before the specified number, means it will not take n, it will stop at n minus 1. Now I will write here a print statement multiplying I with a star variable. First, as the value of I will be 0, our output will be nothing. And then when I will become 1, it will print 1 star, then 2 stars, and so on. Now we will run our code and see how it works. As you can see, we have got only 4 stars in our last line, but we have written 5 there. So it is because the loop has stopped just before n. We have to mention n plus 1 there. Now let's run our code again. Yes, now we are getting 5 stars. So our code is perfect here. Now let's move on to our 5th and last project of this video. For our 5th project, we will be making a factorial calculator. A factorial is represented by exclamation mark, and it is a simple multiplication series from the number 2, 1. Let our number be n. We will take it as an input from the user, and then we will run it in a loop till it reaches 1, and we will keep it multiplying. So of course we will use a for loop here. And since we want to include n also in our multiplication, we will keep the range till n plus 1, and we will multiply all the values of I. So for that we will make another variable that will be sum, which should be factorial by the way. And we will keep the initial value of sum as 1. We can't keep it as 0 because anything multiplied to 0 is 0. And we will keep on multiplying the values of I in sum and then print it afterwards to give output to the user. After the loop is completed, our print statement will run to give the output to the user. And therefore our code is completed now. Now let's run the code to see how it works. As you can see, our answer we are getting is 0. This is because the range starts from 0 as I told you before. So what we will do is start the range from 1. Now I think we should get a correct answer. Okay, so we are getting 120, that is right. Let's see it with another number. Yes, we are getting our answers correct. So this is our factorial calculator. So here we are at the end of this tutorial. We have completed our 5 projects. I hope this helped you, and thanks for watching this long video. Do check out the Python tutorial playlist by me for more amazing tutorials. Thanks for watching again.